Welcome back to A Hare Over a Hill. I'm Hare. Today we are doing a review of the film Argyle. If you want the quick and dirty of it, it is a really enjoyable, small little movie that I am not 100% recommending for going and watching in theaters. Yeah, so let's start digging into some of my thoughts. In that, general shifts of in terms of general storylines, I really liked it, and I wanted to really like it in so many ways. On the fact that starting out, it's oh, from the trailers and from the first 5 minutes, you almost want to expect that this film is going to be oh yes, comedic spy movie throughout. Yeah, it's not going to be that way. For those who've seen my playthrough of all the other stories, plug in, I guess. My general thought of this game is that it does a really great mix of comedy and seriousness. And it starts out really like a good, high levels of comedy and probably a little seriousness. And as the story goes on, this jokiness does start decreasing and seriousness starts increasing. At some point, Argyle is very much the same, but at some point it almost completely loses the jokiness. But at some other times it's fighting to keep the jokiness. It's it never was able to strike that balance between, do we want to be jokey or do we want to be serious? And to the detriment, it is almost there for being oh yeah, a serious film that is occasionally jokey. It almost lands a few times. Yeah, and in terms of a lot, and most of the storyline I really enjoy, but its plot twist and nearing the end, it's plot twist, plot twist, plot twist. It's at some point, it's are we going to get another plot twist? Who knows? It's not it's not. It doesn't do it as a joke. Are we gonna get another plot twist? It's no. It's, are we going to get another? Yes, of course. You start getting some of the plot twist fatigue from it a little bit at the end, which I want to move on to editing, cinematography, and the overall some sequences within the film, which is another contributor. General cinematography, I loved. It really uses the first person perspective quite a bit, and it uses it excellently. I absolutely loved it. Occasionally there was the use of like a, I think it's called like a fishball lens that like it's clearly meant to be like capturing a wider view, but when it's capturing like a really close view, it's like it has a warped perspective. So there's occasionally like, oh, that's a really warped perspective for that close shot. Oh, they're about to do a wide, trying to do a wide shot, a close shot into a really wide shot. So it's like, that seems a tad bit fast there. So yeah, it's occasionally into that. Um, the fight sequences, to the most part, is excellent. Um, very well choreographed fight sequences overall. Um, and what I would say to be the like, there's two there is two climactic fight scenes. And this is getting into the too many plot twists. The true actual last like fight sequence, I was just like, it's like, oh, we are doing this again. This is getting into the fatigue, plot twist fatigue. But it's like, okay, whatever. Um, but like the true like, okay, this is like the big fight sequence in which it's on enough. I want to say two giant fight scenes that has like a small breather in between. So it's shot in such a way that it's one giant fight sequence with a breather section in between, leading almost in a way, making it seem like one giant fight sequence, but in reality, two fight sequences in two areas with a breather, a 30-second to a minute breather. And unlike in Wish, where there were two songs almost immediately back to back, and for me at the time seemed really out of place, these two fight sequences and how they were edited with that rest in between, saying, oh, big one, I really like it. It's like, okay, we can start de-escalating, and oh, and now we get into the second, but they bring it into such a way that's like, okay, this is clearly meant to be a back-to-back fight that we need to, that makes sense to happen back to back with a small like breather in between. Um, but it's in that second half and a lot of the smaller sections throughout the film that you start getting realizing something. Um, with Argyle. Um, from what I remember from the trailers, like the cat. Obviously, CGI was going to be a big thing because, as all of it, as I've learned over the years, that with filming, the two most difficult things you could do well film, the two things you don't want to do while filming is filming with kids and filming with animals. Those are the two most difficult things. And so it's like, oh yeah, we're wanting to do this thing. Like the cat is going to be, like a semi-important figure within the film, and there are some obvious parts that's like, okay, obviously it's like to attempt to do this with an actual cat, it's going to be either too difficult or logistically, it's gonna be impossible. And slash, it's like, how are we going to get a cat to do exactly what we want to do in this situation? So, yeah, that's understandable. But it's other small moments. Light spoiler, but this was in the trailer. They had a shot of um, the main actress being being connected up to the main protagonist actor, and being went out via uh, parachute out of the back of a train. Um, oh, great sequence! And it's like, that's great. They, not even 10 seconds later, they had a shot of them just paragliding away. It's like, relax. Okay, we can start relaxing and breathing out of this intense fight sequence. And here, the issue that I have with it is the fact that, hold on, folks. Sorry about that. The issue I have is that, like, she's still like holding on to him, and as they're flying away, they zoom in on her face, and it's like, okay, and his shoulder is looking. It's like, it's an actual, like, the actual actress's face, but the shoulder almost looks like CGI, and it's like, it's getting into that uncanny valley of, I don't know if it was a practical effect or not, and I did not really like. And a lot of sequences were like small moments, or like small little moments of like, is that real or is that like CGI that just happened? And it was a lot of like uncanny valley moments. Granted, they were a number of times that's like, okay, for practicality, like, granted they could have like actually did live in person like stunt work with wire work, but sometimes it's like, okay, they were clearly CGI, but it's not taking me out of the moment. But other times it's like that. Let me describe the CGI that's happening. It is high budget CGI from like a decade or two ago, in that it's very good CGI, but it's still in that uncanny valley situation that it's like really good, but just bad enough that you can tell that it's like oh, look at that oil effect, like oil effect coming out of a pipe. That is clearly not real. Oil is spreading across the area, and that is clearly not real. And it's that kind of situation that it is that much of a real situation that's like, it's taking me out of the situation. Um, it's suspending my disbelief in the moment. It's distracting me enough that it's like, it's distracting me from wanting to enjoy the moment. I can suspend my disbelief enough to get away from it, but it is a concern that the CGI is not what you is in part heavily used, and at times it's distracting. It is just not what you exactly expect, and it's not as good as what you hope for in a 2024 movie. But overall, I like this movie. I want to like this movie. Am I going to be saying watch it in the theaters? No. If it should you try it when it comes out on streaming services on DVD/Blu-ray? Should you watch it then? I'm not saying go out of your way to go and watch it, but that's when you should definitely enjoy it. If it comes across your Netflix or Hulu or whatever, oh yeah, go and watch it. I would definitely recommend it there. But I also wouldn't seek it out purpose. But yeah, that is my general thoughts, people. If you watched Argyle, leave your thoughts down in the comment section down below. Otherwise, I'll see you around, folks. Peace.